Hi all, welcome back to my channel. The story I'm about to share with you, if I didn't know how much evil is in this world, I would say is almost unbelievable. It's out of Westland, Michigan, not far from Detroit. And if I didn't see the shocking video for myself, I probably wouldn't be sharing it with you now. Because it's too hard to believe, too shocking to wrap your head around, and sounds like a horror movie. Not real life. But it was all too real for the residents of Wildwood Street, who were going about enjoying their day on August 10th of 2024, not knowing that sheer terror was headed straight for them, intending to alter their lives or end them completely. This is April Graves. She's 43 years old, a wife, a mother, a business owner. And on August 10th, she decided to become a killer. And the strangers living on Wildwood Street would become her victims.
This was Graves behind the wheel of this SUV on a rampage through a Westland neighborhood.
According to witnesses, Graves came out of nowhere, turned onto Wildwood Street, and began ramming cars and driveways into their garages. Witnesses said she went from house to house, ramming her SUV into multiple cars in people's driveways, crashing their cars into their garages. But that wasn't even the most terrifying part. As Graves was terrorizing the residents of Wildwood Street, she spotted a young couple standing by their car in their driveway, no doubt shocked by what they were witnessing happen on their street, and she sped right for them, crashing into their car and pinning the man between her car and his. Luke and Haley Vinsko are new parents to 2-month-old twin baby boys, and on the day police say Graves tried to kill them, they had just returned from their first outing together since their twins were born. And in a flash, they found themselves in a deadly situation that Haley narrowly escaped and left her husband Luke horribly injured.
We begin with a truly frightening situation in Westland. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Hillary Golston. A witness tells Fox 2 a driver smashed into multiple parked cars, including his own. We're going live now to Fox 2's Camille Amiri, who has this pretty incredible video. Camille, what can you tell us about the investigation thus far?
Yeah, well, you can see behind me, the investigation's still going on right now. Accident reconstruction teams out here, police still out here, crime scene tape out here. This happened on Wildwood in Westland, probably around 7:15, 7:30. Now, take a look at this video that you were talking about. I know, Hillary, you've gotten a chance to see it. This is from the witness who saw a portion of what she was doing, pulling in, backing up, crashing into cars. You can hear the screeching right now. Crashed into his car on the street. We also talked to several other witnesses who also saw this, who called 911. In all of this, while she was crashing into the cars, she apparently hit a man and pinned him partially under his own car. His legs actually went underneath his car, the red car that you see in this video. We talked to a witness who didn't want to go on camera earlier tonight, but said that she actually stayed with him until 911 came. The emergency crews came while his wife called 911. She said his legs were badly injured, but he was able to talk about his two little boys, twins, 2 months old. This was going to be the first time that he was going to go out to dinner with his wife, and the twins were going to be babysat by a family member. We also talked to the man who lives next door to them, whose car was crashed into, who videotaped this. Take a listen.
I was inside the house and I sort of heard a loud bang. Went outside, heard some people screaming, and I saw the lady in the red car over there, and then she just sort of started slamming into other cars as hard as she could. Came back and hit my car. I don't even know the lady. Neither of the neighbors know her. It was a random act of violence, honestly.
So the woman, her car was disabled. The airbags went off once she backed into these cars again. So she had to wait. I guess neighbors were actually telling me that they kind of stood around her car until police got here and took her into custody. They were saying that she was laughing at the time, that she may have been suffering some sort of mental breakdown. Neighbors are also saying that an old boyfriend lived here at this house a long time ago, but no longer lives here at this house that she was targeting, where she actually hit the guy in his legs, badly injured. So a lot to unpack on this story, but we will continue to follow it and update you as soon as we get more information. Reporting live in Westland, Camille and Mary, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, and Camille, that video really is shocking. I mean, it's hard to even look at because it appears that this person is driving into another vehicle on purpose. I mean, that's how it comes across in the video. Is there anyone else who could be responsible in this case besides the driver? Anyone who may have known what this person was up to before they went on this chaotic spree?
Well, we have heard that there was possibly a welfare check done on her because of her mental state earlier in the night, but those details we're still working on trying to get confirmed. So we know she was in the car by herself. We don't know what happened leading up to this, but we know that she, like you said, you saw her back up and then crash back in, and it was full speed ahead. We talked to probably 15 or 20 people who witnessed this, who just happened to be outside in the area or hear something and come out, and they believe that had those airbags not gone off and had her car not been disabled because of the back and forth, that she may have continued to do this. So obviously a lot more to come on this. A horrible tragedy, pulling for that man who, like I said, a young father, his legs badly injured, but conscious until he got, while he was being loaded up into the ambulance. So our prayers are with him and his family tonight. Hillary, back to you.
Absolutely. Our thoughts and prayers certainly with that man tonight. And we wish him hopefully a full recovery, that he can get home to his small children. Thank you so much, Camille and Mary, live for us tonight.
Tonight with that wild scene in a Westland neighborhood that people are still talking about. Police say a woman intentionally plowed into cars, injuring a man. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. We're learning that woman could face a judge as soon as tomorrow. Police believe that the suspect had been drinking and doing drugs when it all unfolded in a usually quiet neighborhood. Now, in one of those crashes, she went after a man and his wife who were in their garage.
Tonight, the wife of that man who was severely injured is opening up to 7 News Detroit reporter Kimberly Craig about the stranger who made them a target.
This is not the story Haley Vinsko ever wanted to tell, but she said it's important that people hear from her just how a complete stranger tried to kill her and her husband. That stranger first ramming into a neighbor's car across the street and then peeling forward, heading straight for Haley and Luke as they stood in their driveway, pinning Luke under a car.
She admitted to wanting to murder us and send us to God.
The woman who was on a rampage with her SUV slammed into the Vinskos' vehicles twice, pinning Haley's husband Luke under one of the cars.
She hit them again and were screaming, like, what are you doing?
And when I tried to reach into her car to turn her car off, she laughed in my face.
It was horrific. Just a man being in his garage, and they didn't know the lady. I believe that she used to live there and she was looking for somebody that she used to date.
Haley and her family wonder if this could have been prevented because they later learned that police had been notified of the woman causing an earlier disturbance in the area. Police say their officer had to respond to something more urgent, but they're looking into how it was all handled.
Luke Vinsko was rushed to the hospital with his leg crushed, and according to his wife Haley, who narrowly escaped the deadly attack herself, did an interview saying that Luke's leg was so damaged, doctors weren't able to save it, and they had to amputate it. And the scariest part of her interview? When she described that after April Graves slammed into her husband, pinning him between their two cars, she was laughing the entire time.
Haley, I can't even imagine. First of all, tell us how your husband is faring right now.
He's still in the ICU. He's stable. They are giving him another blood transfusion today. He's very sleepy, but he's staying positive, and we're taking one day at a time.
Which is remarkable because he's lost a lot.
He has. but he has 2 boys here waiting for him, and I'm going to be with him every step of the way. So,
How's he adapting to losing his right leg? And did doctors talk to him about that before they...
they said it might be a possibility because of how damaged the leg was, that it could be amputated, and it was.
What goes through your mind when you remember what happened out here, that this woman did not have to make the choices that she did?
She didn't have to laugh in my face afterwards either.
Tell me what happened. You and your husband are coming back from...
Our first day out from having our twins, and we were putting his golf clubs in his trunk, and we had dinner in our hands, and we were getting ready to come into the house and see the boys, and she floored her car and rammed him and pinned him in between her car and hers. And then she backed up, hit another car, and then came back and hit my car and pushed it into him. That's the car he was under. Took the garage door off the hinges, and when I tried to reach into her car to turn her car off, she laughed in my face and then reversed it and put that red car through their garage.
I can't even imagine. This could not have even felt real.
No, it still doesn't. It's all I can hear and it's all I can see.
This woman, you're hearing things about what happened earlier in the day?
Yes, she was down the street at a friend's house after being missing for a week, acting erratic, talking to people that were not there, saying she wanted to die, that her friends tried to restrain her. They called the cops at least 4 times. The cops never sent anyone. They said they did not have the manpower, and it wasn't a dire emergency enough to send anyone, and if they would have, my husband would not be sitting in a hospital bed right now.
That's got to be probably...
It's infuriating that they could have prevented all of this from happening, and they did nothing until my husband was on the floor of our garage bleeding out. That's what it took for them to do something.
Have police responded to you at this point about that part of it?
No.
Or it's just a lot just going on?
Still investigating and everything.
Talk about how this is going to change your guys' lives.
It's going to change everything. My husband doesn't have his right leg. His left foot is broken. He's going to have to learn to walk again. I don't know if he'll ever be able to work again. We have 2-month-old twin boys that we're trying to figure out how to take care of while taking care of him. It's going to be a very long road, but him and I have always been a team, and we always will be, and we know as long as we have each other, we'll figure it out. We're just taking one day at a time.
This is one strong woman.
I would do anything I have to take care of my boys and my husband, and we will be okay. It's just going to be a long road.
Tammy, what was that like when you walked out there and you saw...
I wanted to go kill her right then. I ran over there and asked her I'm like, what is going on? What are you doing? And she's screaming. She's like, Luke's pinned under the car. I went over there. My brother had tried to go around the passenger side to take keys in case she was still able to drive.
He got into the car and beer bottles fell out onto the floor on the passenger side.
And she laughed at me. She laughed. I'm like, what are you... She laughed at me. I'm like, are you... I had choice words, obviously. I'm not going to say them, but she was laughing at me.
She thought it was funny.
She thought it was funny. That she just destroyed their life and his livelihood and 2 boys upstairs. She didn't know them. She didn't know them. There was...
All my husband has been asking while he was on the floor, while he was in the ambulance, is, are my boys okay and are you okay? His main focus has been me and the boys.
Yeah.
Because they could have been with us.
And they
could have been with us, and thankfully they weren't. They were upstairs safe.
Yep.
But they could have been. We were just in our own driveway.
I mean, this is their house. This is where you're supposed to be safe and protected. They weren't on the road driving when someone did this to them. They were home in their driveway, coming home from an amazing...
Our first day out.
Amazing day together. And so...
But we're going to have a lot more amazing days ahead.
Yes, you are.
So. We're just trying to stay as positive as we can.
How is Luke able to be so positive?
He's an amazing person, and he knows he has a lot of people that love and support him, and he has a lot to live for. So he's just staying as positive as he can, and he's doing amazing. He's doing a lot better than I would, that's for sure. He's one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
You got a good one.
He's a warrior.
He's amazing. That's why I said when I told you when they first met and Haley was like, Mom, I've met someone and I really like him. be on your best behavior, please. And ever since that day,
The rest is, as they say, history.
history, they've been inseparable. It's like they were actually meant for each other.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
We always tell each other forever and always.
Yeah, yeah.
Haley, what goes through your mind when you hear people saying that this woman was having some mental health issues, or did it seem like it was more drugs and alcohol?
I think she knows exactly what she was doing. I think she found humor and enjoyment in it. I do not think she deserves any sort of leniency because of that. I'm a big advocate for mental health, and being the one that she was laughing in my face, I don't think that's what it was. And she deserves everything that's coming to her.
And do you think that she just wanted to hurt somebody and just picked you guys?
Yes, she admitted to wanting to murder us and send us to God.
And she said that to police?
As far as my understanding is, yes.
And send you to God?
Yes, a higher power told her to.
But she didn't even know you guys from...
We've never seen her before in our entire lives. I have no idea who she is. I don't know. She was just down the street, and we were the people that were on the road. We were the first people that she saw when she got into her car. So we were in the wrong place, wrong time at our own house.
A young couple, just trying to enjoy a day out together, becomes the target of a potential killer. Thank God she didn't succeed. But Haley says police told her Graves wanted them dead. Decided to kill them, just because they were in her path of destruction. Now, a young family has to find a way to deal with the damage she's done. She didn't even know them, and she tried to kill them. Not to mention all the other people she could have harmed and killed as she rammed their cars into their garages. She didn't know if people were in those cars she hit, or in the garages she crashed them into. She could have harmed or killed so many. Laughing the whole time, like it was some sick game she was playing. But she wasn't laughing during her first court appearance, where she was formally charged with 2 counts of assault with intent to murder, 2 counts of assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder, 1 count of operating while intoxicated causing serious bodily impairment, 1 count of reckless driving causing serious impairment of a body function, 2 counts of felonious assault with a dangerous weapon, 2 counts malicious destruction of building over $1,000, 2 counts of malicious destruction of personal property over $1,000, 1 count of assault, resisting, and obstructing a police officer, and 1 count of open alcohol container in a vehicle. As a matter of fact, she put on quite the show, crying and falling to the floor. Court officers had to hold her up and walk her out of the court at her arraignment. I guess she didn't think she was going to get slapped with 13 felonies, including assault with a deadly weapon and intent to murder, after ramming multiple cars into buildings and trying to run down a husband and wife in their own driveway, later telling police that she was trying to end their lives.
We begin tonight with dramatic moments in a courtroom when a 43-year-old Westland woman was charged in Saturday's rampage with an SUV. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Now that woman collapsing in court today after being arraigned for the rampage that landed one man in this hospital who had to have his leg amputated. We first brought you this story yesterday, showing the moments caught on camera of the woman crashing her car into several vehicles.
7 News Detroit reporter Kimberly Craig has been talking to police and the victim's wife, who was in court when the suspect laid on the floor, appearing to cry and saying she's sorry.
Haley Vinsko came to court today to see the woman accused of trying to kill her and her husband face a judge, but no one expected the dramatic moments that unfolded.
1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay. All right.
After being arraigned on multiple charges, including assault with intent to murder and operating while intoxicated, 43-year-old April Graves had to be picked up and taken out of the courtroom. But Saturday, police say this was Graves behind the wheel of this SUV on a rampage through a Westland neighborhood. Graves slammed into Luke Vinsko, pinning him under a vehicle, his wife Haley narrowly escaping. Luke's injury so severe, his right leg had to be amputated at the knee. And while the Vinskos do not know Graves, for some reason she appeared to target them.
I think she knows exactly what she was doing. I think she found humor and enjoyment in it.
In court today, we learned police found empty alcohol bottles, suspected cocaine and nitrous oxide inside the SUV Graves was driving.
The Termicitis went to detain Miss Graves and place her in handcuffs. However, once she eventually was able to do so, Miss Graves became dead weight and refused to walk, and she also refused to get into the rear seat of the patrol vehicle.
About an hour before Graves allegedly started crashing into cars, police received several calls to 911 to report she was behaving erratically.
Callers calling back and stating the female is having some type of manic episode. The white female, blonde, white joggers, and a camel tank top. Stopping cars. Another caller stated she was laying in traffic, possibly trying to kill herself.
Your Honor, Ms. Graves is 43 years old. She does have ties to this community. She is living here with her husband. They do have one son. She is self-employed. She does not have any felonies on her record. She's an individual that suffers from some serious mental health issues.
Moments after the judge set bond for April Graves at $850,000, 10%, she appeared to become despondent.
April.
Haley Vinsko was in court to see the woman accused of trying to kill her and her husband. She wasn't up to talking, but she had this to say Monday.
I do not think she deserves any sort of leniency because of that. I'm a big advocate for mental health, and being the one that she was laughing in my face, I don't think that's what it was. And she deserves everything that's coming to her.
In Westland, Kimberly Craig, 7 News, Detroit.
She was charged with driving while intoxicated. So, police believe she was impaired. Drunk. But Haley says she was informed that Graves' friends called police before her reign of terror because she was acting erratically and thought she was having a mental breakdown. So, which is it? Did she go on a drunken rampage? Or was she in the grips of a mental breakdown when she decided to destroy lives and try to end them altogether? Or was it neither, and she's just pure evil? What do you think? If you have an opinion, share it in the comments, because I don't know what to think, other than she is just pure evil. Whatever happened to her that day, she still decided to kill Luke and Haley Vinsko. 2 strangers she didn't even know and had no reason to attack. She had no reason to attack any of those people. And all the other damage and fear she caused, the residents of Wildwood Street will never be the same. And what if, God forbid, children had been playing outside or riding their bikes on that terrifying day? I can guarantee the story would be even more tragic than the unfathomable nightmare it already is. I'll be praying for Luke, Haley, and their family, that they find a way to pick up the pieces and put their lives back together. And for the residents of Wildwood Street, who probably no longer feel safe in their own homes. All because a laughing stranger decided to terrorize them and murder them on a warm summer evening. Thank you for listening to this terrifying story. And don't forget to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more true crime stories. Stay safe out there and at home. And I'll see you on my next video.